just to kickstart or break ice where you can ask questions to us. Like I mentioned in my speech, what we do is try to make sense of these lists from a data and numbers perspective. And what Grohe brings to the table is on-the-ground understanding of some of the key trends. And maybe even tell me, you guys look at this developer, this guys could be good and all that stuff. So from that perspective, Bobby, my question to you is, what are some of the key trends that you've seen over the last 2 years, especially from a real estate perspective, during COVID, the recovery, where do you see the growth and all that stuff? Can you give some inputs?
So, the last 2 years has been quite challenging. So first of all, I think everybody realizes that we are coming out of a normal cyclical event in the real estate where you're seeing growth happening. But last 2 years slow down things a little bit. But having said that, the first half of 2021-22, at the second quarter, saw interest in real estate increasing. And the second half saw the real growth coming in. So most growth that you've seen has happened in the second half of last financial year. What we're seeing is there is more interest in commercial spaces. We've seen growth in certain cities that have gone phenomenally high. Residential properties are selling at a premium. Real estate developers have increased their price, and that's partially to do with the raw material cost going up. But there is increased demand in the real estate that we are seeing. More interestingly, we are seeing Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities growing. So overall, we believe that we are now in a growth phase, and I hope that the COVID is behind us as we go. This industry creates the largest number of jobs, etc. And I'm looking at it from a more positive, that both real estate, in terms of residential, commercial, and hospitality, all three have shown positive growth over the last 8-9 months.
What about cities? Which cities, have you seen any uptick of demand or requirement for your products from any particular city? That kind of indicates the growth.
Sure. So typically the large growth happens in Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore. Commercial in Bangalore and Hyderabad have seen great increase. But even if you look at Tier 2 or what I would call as Tier 2 or Tier 3 cities, cities like Lucknow, Jaipur in the north, have shown phenomenally growth in the vertical high-rise buildings coming up. We've seen increase in Nasik in the west. South itself is growing. Bangalore actually taking up the lead in growth, and you've seen developers announcing new projects almost every week. You're seeing new projects coming up. So there is a substantial interest. Consumers' behaviors are changing because you're also seeing work from home increasing the need of larger space. People are renovating their homes a lot more, and so you're seeing the renovation market for us in specific increasing. Retail has taken a big growth for us. So yes, we are seeing these trends which are not just Tier 1 but Tier 2 cities also growing phenomenally big.
Okay. And I mentioned about sustainability in my speech, right? And that's a new thing that I'm seeing. Whenever I meet entrepreneurs, they all started speaking quite aggressively about being more sustainable. There is a shift in attitude that I don't know how much of that is turning on reality, but at least there is a thought process that is going on, right? So have you noticed that?
Sure, consumers are today more aware. Developers are more aware. We also need to realize that natural resources are depleting, water being one of the most important natural resources. I think the younger generation has become conscious that they should not waste water. Most of the products that Grohe brings to market today is also from the fact that we can give you the same experience with a lesser use of water. So some of our showers can give you the same experience using 40% less water. Most of our products are also IGBC certified. This allows the whole green concept to come in. Our fitting plants are all net zero carbon footprint that we are giving. We have also said openly that by 2050, LIXIL as a company will be a net zero carbon company. Now, having said that, all those of you who have followed Grohe or LIXIL would have realized a week back we started off a whole campaign on Twitter, which was every drop counts. The campaign really was to sensitize individuals that when you have one leaking tap, that drips one drop of water every second, you end up losing 7,500 liters at the end of the year. So if we can fix that one leaky tap, you can realize how much of water we can save for the future generations. We're also, so we tied up with Mr. Abid Surti, who's a water warrior from Bombay, to get into this campaign, and we had field force in the ground going to RWAs, working in their leaky taps and sealing those taps just to increase the consciousness. From a CSR perspective, also Grohe has invested in societies in Gurgaon with regard to rainwater harvesting. So we are also conscious as much as consumers and developers are conscious. Developers are asking us how much water can you save? How much water can you reuse? And we are going to get more products in the same phase. So I think, yes, there is an increasing trend of sustainability, also in terms of circular economy, ensuring that we are preserving natural resources for future generations. And I think that's a primary responsibility of each one of us. So, Anas, I want to ask you a question, and you talked about China and you talked about India. We've seen what happened in China in terms of, the billionaires numbers coming down. What are you seeing in terms of China and India as a difference, and where do you see India going from here?
I think one of the interesting factors about, just to give you some numbers, it's there in the report, number of US dollar billionaires in China has gone down from 121 to 58 currently in the last 5 years. From a real estate billionaire perspective, there are wealth creation in other sectors. I'm specifically speaking from a real estate standpoint. And India and US is kind of saturated about 2025, and India is increasing, in terms of the billionaires from the real estate sector. One of the things that we've noted, you all possibly are aware, is in China, the real estate sector has been built from a top-down approach, wherein the immense government benefits, cheap loans, and then builders are allowed to build structures, and that's how the value creation happened in the real estate. And so many billionaires popped up in the last few years. But in India, we believe it's more from a bottom-up approach, wherein the value creation of the business is driven by consumer demand and so on. So I really think from an Indian context, the wealth creation in the real estate is going to be more sustainable. Of course, you would see weaker players fading out and shutting shop and all that stuff, but stronger players who are compliant and who have processes and so on, they're going to get stronger and stronger. I really believe there will be a further growth in the real estate sector from India, and that growth is going to be sustainable compared to the China and the US market. That's why I said we are going to witness a growth of finest quality in terms of real estate value creation over the next few years. Of course, there could be some negative stories here and there, but then overall the sector is going to grow massively. So that's it, yeah.
That's good for us, because as the real estate sector grows, we also grow, and we are looking forward. And I do believe in what you said, that the economy in terms of the real estate sector is bound to grow. I don't see why we would stall at this point of time, and I think the next 10 years are real phenomenal growth for India.